To start with the justification of the didactic unit, we are going to begin focusing on content and language integrated learning. Anderstenos et al. In 2014 said this is a dual-focused educational approach in which an additional language is used for the learning and teaching of both content and language, and this can include a wide range of educational practices. They also explain that this through content teaching that CLIL can develop higher-order language skills. This is a characteristic of CLIL in comparison with other types of language learning approaches, which are also content-oriented. As for the topic we had chosen, we opted for animals, fauna, and their habitats. It is a topic that primary school students are usually fascinated with. And with that in mind, we wanted to choose a topic in which the students are motivated, that they work on a topic and curricular content that they like, that lets them to participate actively, and that they make use of the language. It also focuses on working on different subthemes and different academic files at the same time.
During this project, different skills have been worked on. Among the transversal competence, on the one hand, ikasten eta pentsatzen ikasteko kompetentzia has been worked on, the first and the second content. On the other hand, elkarbizitzako kompetentzia has been worked on, only the second content. Talking about subject competence, we can focus on two, science and foreign languages. In the first, that is science, only the third block is worked on, which is called living beings. In the foreign language, the second and the sixth blocks have been worked on.
The development of this project will be based on 7 different activities we have made. This section describes the different activities that we are going to carry out. It specifies the title of each activity, the development, the time required, and the material that will be needed to carry them out. We will also like to mention that the time of each activity can be modified depending on the pace of each student.
To explain the activities we created, we should know that these are divided into different phases, which are initial phase, development phase, application and communication phase, and finally, generalization and transference. And in the initial phase, the first activity is named In Search of Knowledge. What interests us here is the students' knowledge of the topic. To do this, the teacher will ask questions about the topic that they have previously prepared to ask in class. The students will answer these questions with the information they know. Once the students' savings are known, they will look for general information on the internet. As they do this, they will have to write down important information in class, and together create a conceptual map that differentiates the different habitats. The material we will use here is the teacher's computer, notebooks, and pencils or pen. And this activity will be done on an hour.
The name of the second activity is Habitat Around Us. The 5 habitats established with the help of the conceptual map created in the previous class, polar, savanna, desert, forest, and ocean, will be distributed by the drawing lots of among the students, and each one of them will choose an animal that corresponds to that habitat, taking into account that she doesn't not choose the same option as another student. Then the teacher distributes a card to the student to find the necessary information about this animal, so that each student can fill out the distributed work set. The materials that we are going to use are the word cells and a pencil or a pen. And the duration of this activity is a half hour.
The third activity is called Making Our Animal. In this activity, each student must create the chosen animal using plasticine or other materials. To do this, the student must take into account the information received and the characteristics of the animal when representing and creating them. Imagination will also be important in this action, since in addition to taking into account the characteristics of the animal, it will be up to them to decide how to place the chosen one. They can use different materials such as plasticine, cardboard, paper, scissors, paints. These materials will be available in the class so they don't have to bring it from home. And to make the model of the animal, the teacher will. The fourth activity is called Introducing My Animal. On this occasion, to ensure that they have understood and internalized the information previously saw, students should create a video with information about their animal and the physical representation generated, as if they were presenting the chosen animal. To do this, they will have to work in pairs and follow the sequence stages proposed by the teacher. The purpose of the task is to develop their digital and speaking skills and share the final product with lower grade classes of the school. This will be, of course, explained in their own words, but they should refer to the relevant information obtained as stated. They will need a camera or a phone to record the video, as well as a computer for making the edition. As the students have to understand how to make a video and record it, we consider that they will need at least 2 hours for completing the task. If the teacher sees that they
Our fifth activity is creating our habitats. For this, students who have the same habitat should get together and each group should create its own habitat. When they have done that, each student will place the animal they created in the model they have just created as a group. For this, they can use different type of materials that they are going to be available in the class, like for example papers, makers, scissors, or glue. The duration for this activity, it would be 2 hours. Our next activity's name is Habitats in our classroom. In this activity, after having the model with their animals ready, each group will present what they have created, explaining what materials they have used, how the process has been, and what characteristics each of them has. In addition to this, each child will explain and show the animal they have created and presented all the phases they have been through during this project. The materials for this is going to be the model itself, and the duration for this activity is going to be 1 hour. Our last activity is going to be a final reflection. Now the last product will take place. All the models will be put together. They will all be placed on the tables to be able to appreciate them. After that, everyone will comment orally what kind of ecosystems and habitats exist, what new things they have learned during this process. They have to be aware of the animals in danger of extinction, and so on. Finally, to make a last review and emphasize what they have learned, they will do a Kahoot, which the teacher will have prepared. The students will have to answer different questions with different possible answers, which will be related to the theme that has been given in these last activities. In this way, when they get questions right, they will emphasize what they know, while at the same time they will learn from the questions they get wrong. The materials for this are the computers and all the models they have created, and the duration for this activity is going to be 1.5 hours.
To continue to evaluate the students, we use 4 evaluation criteria. The first one is use of digital tools to search for information. The second, analyze function and habitats of living beings. The third one, correctly use oral and nonverbal resource. And the fourth one, selecting key information needs for the proposal work. The teacher will take into account the achievement indicators that are here to evaluate the students. In addition, the teacher will use the rubric that we have created previously. And we think it is important to mention that the process of the students will be evaluated and not the final exam only. To finish, in conclusion, we have learned how to introduce clear project in class through different topics and subjects. Also, to take into account the different contents that the students should work on. And together with this, also the 3 types of communicative objectives that are learning language, to learn, and through learning. After all, we consider that it is fundamental to give them protagonism and to focus on the students. And finally, the activities created are intended to express creativity and also to work on the ability to work with the language.